The biggest hurdle when writing isn't that you don't have a good idea, it's the execution of it. We're going to go over how to instantly elevate any story you're currently writing. So, what is the secret sauce to a successful story? Well, it is not just your characters, but how they interact with one another. So, in this video, we're going to be going over how to elevate your characters' relationships. And the first big pitfall that you can easily fall into is focusing too much on the physical of your character. Especially when it comes to romance, your characters' relationships aren't going to be founded on the physical, are they? They're going to be founded on something deeper. What makes up you? Sure, you have a body, but you also have a mind. You have values and beliefs. You have history, you have preferences, fears, hopes, dreams. These are all elements that make up you. So, especially when you are focusing on enriching your characters' relationships, you want to make sure that you're not just focusing all on the physical. Don't just describe how your character looks, actually add depth to them, and do the same with your relationships. Especially if you're handling romances, remember, beauty fades. There needs to be something deeper between your two characters to get them to stay together or have any meaningful connection. Trust me, your audience will love these moments of deeper connection. The next thing not to do when writing relationships is making it one-sided. One-sided relationships are not healthy. They unfortunately are realistic, but if you want to make your audience really love your characters and invested in what's going on, make sure that your character isn't just taking everything. There needs to be a give and take in a relationship. Think about that one friend that you have that you reach out to and sometimes you hear back, but you can basically guarantee that they are never going to reach out to you first. We all have at least one of those friends. On the flip side, think about the friend that always reaches out to you and asks how you're doing if you want to hang out. Isn't it so refreshing to have someone else initiate the conversation and initiate spending time with each other? Solid relationships are going to be the same way. There's going to be a give and a take. Whether you're writing romantic or platonic relationships, love is a verb. It's about taking action. Just make sure that both characters are giving things to each other and receiving things from one another. Have you ever been reading a book and there's a character that honestly could be replaced by a rock and nothing would change? Don't write characters like that. You want the relationships that you form in your stories to be impactful. You don't want characters that can just be replaced by insert inanimate object here, because that's not going to bring anything to your story. Especially when you're writing romance, you want to make sure that there is mutual growth between two characters. Here's a crash course on relationships and how to know if a relationship is healthy and functions well. Do the people in the relationship grow together? Do the people in the relationship grow independently? If that's the case, you have a recipe for a successful, healthy relationship, whatever kind of relationship it ends up being. Don't write your side characters to be rocks. They need to actually engage in the story and engage with your character. So if you want to write realistic relationships, make sure that you integrate mutual growth between two characters. Is there a trope that you can't stand? Well, this next point leads right into my least favorite trope, and that is the love triangle. Why am I harping on the love triangle? Because the love triangle is all about uncertainty. Should you go with this one who treats you incredibly well, treats you like a queen, has known you for a long time, and is a really good person? Or should you go with the bad boy who you can fix, and the main character always goes after the bad boy, and it drives me up a wall? But it's that uncertainty. Good relationships shouldn't have uncertainty in them. They need an element of trust. I know that when sometimes I'm into my own head so much and just think, I'm a failure, I'm terrible, I don't know what I'm doing. I can trust that my husband's going to tell me the truth, that I'm doing well, that I'm okay, that these are just pointless fears to not pay attention to, and I can trust him over the own words playing in my head. When you're writing relationships, if you want to write really strong relationships that your audience will read about and just go, I love them so much, you need to have that element of trust. Even if you have characters that are uncertain in the moment, or if they're unwavering in the moment, there still needs to be someone that they can depend on. Mistborn is a great example of this. The entire character arc essentially for Vin is learning how to trust people. And even though she's learning to trust, deep down she knows that these are trustworthy people that she's associating with. So even as she's wrestling with whether she can or not, there's still that firm foundation that she can. So writing realistic, healthy relationships, you need to make sure that there's an element of trust. That way, when difficulties come up, your characters can still overcome them. Now, there's one more key element to elevating any story that you are writing. You need to have a good relationship with your story because you're going to be spending a lot of time with it. So to make sure that you emphasize any story that you're writing, make sure that your character relationships are solid and they are interesting and they are deep. Make sure you're not just focusing on the physicality of your characters, or your characters aren't focusing on the physicality of their relationship. Make your characters deeper than skin deep. Make sure that your characters aren't just taking. There needs to be a give and a take to make the relationship feel realistic, feel healthy, and feel like something that your audience is going to absolutely root for. Now, if your relationships feel static and there's no growth, well, then that's a problem. Make sure that the relationship you are writing about mutually benefits each person involved. If they're friends, do they help each other grow? Does one strength cover the other's weaknesses, and vice versa? Make sure that when you are writing relationships, there's an element of trust. Of course, you can incorporate uncertainty into certain growth arcs. That is, I'm not saying you can't do that. What I'm saying is, if your character is supposed to rely on someone, don't make them wishy-washy about it. And love what it is that you're writing. Find a story that really excites you. When you are excited, it's infectious. When you're excited about a story, you tend to make it more excellent. So elevate your story by really honing in on these relationships. Remember, people love stories because they love the characters. And people love the characters because of their relationships with other people. For more on characters, check out this video right here.